Yeah. Consent then. We're gonna get started.
I was just asking.
Oh.
Okay, we can get started, yeah. So, hello, everyone. Catherine Hebert, Chairman of the Sustainable Bethel Commission. And we are starting a little after 7. You know what the time is, so you can write that down. And we will do Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge of Allegiance to the flag
of the
United States of America,
and
and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, so was there any correspondence or any, no, right. Public comments?
I would speak.
You need
I'm
to-
like a broken record.
No, but every
Billy
time you said announce
Billy
yourself.
Michael, 27.5 week whatever, for my monthly installment of the same thing. But I know how Sustainable Connecticut and the individual groups in the state love the equity coach, and they love equity, and they love things with those initials like DEI. And I've been a voice in the wilderness against this whole movement. And then this week, Bethel's Board of Education is right now taking out all references to equity, where they're going to lose over $1 million from the federal government. I saw the letter from the state saying that all of this DEI business now cannot be funded. And there are, well, since he's on the Board of Finance, she knows more than I do. But there's people's jobs that are impacted by this. But this equity initiative, which is this organization, your organization would like an equity coach. I think it's on the other side of things now. And then all the companies in the country that are getting rid of DEI, that now they want to have a boycott, either whether it's an American Civil Liberties Union or somebody, they're putting lists of companies that are now disavowing DEI. There's my monthly speech. There's my monthly speech. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Billy. Cynthia
McCorkadale, 19 Elgin Avenue. So just picking up on that, what the state is saying is that it's up to each community. So, but they won't receive federal funding if they choose to keep the DEI intact. It's interesting because there are a lot of jobs that, I mean, they've hired people based on this. I always was kind of not suspect of it, but more like, is this going to last or not? So you don't have to answer this question to me personally, like going back and forth, but it occurred to me that does this impact Sustainable Connecticut or Sustainable Bethel in the sense of I believe you do get some funding, but it does. Sustainable Connecticut, I think, I'm not sure. And it's this whole idea of equity coach, which is equity, not equality. People are having that discussion. But since people are shutting down departments all over the place, is that something that would affect your commission and the process of certification, etc.? Thank you.
Thank you, Cynthia.
Okay.
So,
I just have
no,
a question.
this is
Okay.
public comment. It's only for them.
Okay.
Yeah, we can't go back and forth.
No. Oh, okay.
No.
I was just like,
No.
nothing appears in the minutes or anything?
Yes, it's something is in the minutes every time, yeah. Yeah, but yeah, this is the part of the agenda where the public gets to talk and we listen.
Okay.
That's it. No, that's it.
So there's never any action? Point of information, the secretary marks it down, who spoke, and there's action or no action, it can be addressed or not, it's just, we are giving.
Yeah, they have the right to say, to talk their
Okay.
opinion. Yeah,
Okay.
there's nothing of that on the agenda. Okay. Okay, so today we have a guest speaker. Tricia Boris is on the Bethel Arts Commission. Bethel Arts Committee organization. Yeah, on the board. Yes, and she's here to give an update on the sculpture installation.
Yes.
So can you bring
Can we
that
pull
up?
that page?
Hang on a second.
And I can sit here, I can see. it.
Yeah.
This is for Earth Day.
Yep.
So for those of you that were here, I was here in September telling you about, talking about our plans for this. So I'd like to give you an update on where we are and what we intend to do. And I know there were some folks that were not here for that. So I will start by saying what it is we're talking about.
Okay.
So Bethel Arts is a nonprofit organization that is focused on promoting the arts in the town of Bethel. I am the secretary of the board on the board of directors. And what we are doing is, along with Sustainable Bethel, we are going to be launching a sculpture exhibit. The exhibit will be a year-long exhibit. We intend for it to be refreshed annually, but the sculptures will be installed and the exhibit launched on the 26th of April in conjunction with the Earth Day celebration, and will be up for approximately like a year. And our hope is if we can maintain and get proper funding, that this is something that we could do annually. So when I was here in the fall, we were just talking about ideas for this and what our thoughts were. So let me tell you first what we've done since then, and then what you can expect to see next. One is we decided on the title of the exhibit. It is Our Power, Our Planet, Sculpture Reflections. We did put a call to artists out on I think October 1st for artists to submit art. It was online. And we had 17 different artists submit a total of 38 pieces for our consideration. We have 7 platforms that are pre-existing from prior exhibits. There are 4 that are in front of the Municipal Center and 3 around the library. And so those are the 7 platforms that we're considering. These are large scale sculpture. So that was completed. So by the 15th, we actually extended it a bit because of the Christmas holiday. So we cut off the applications on the 15th of January, and then we spent a couple of weeks. We had a jury of artists, 3 artists, one who's on our board who herself has a master's in sculpture, and then 2 other prominent local artists who juried the show, who were the ones that made the selections of the 38, and that's final nod for Janice, the chairman, and myself, as pieces of that. But we wanted to make sure the jury was really comprised of artists. So that was done. And so we selected 7 sculptures, 7 different artists. This is still our process. There was 2 additional sculptures from Bethel artists that we liked, but were not of the scale to match some platforms. So we're considering, this is in progress, whether there might be other locations that we could put them in Bethel and include them in the map and the information. We were thrilled with what we got. I would just say that we have a lot of talent in this area. We have a lot of really talented artists, and it was really exciting to see everything that they submitted. So that's where we are on that. So let's talk about money. So the budget that we've submitted for this is $15,000. More than half of that, $8,000 of it, will go to the artists themselves and stipends. And then the balance is for a number of things. One is we need to update the website so that we can make the exhibit accessible and have profiles of the artists, have a map of the sculptures and where they could be found on the website, and then do supporting marketing, provide support for the launch. We also, during the show, which as I said, will be a year long, going to be working with the schools to see if we can get students or other volunteers who would like to become docents for the exhibit. And so we'd like to, throughout the year, have periodic shows where we walk people around and tell them about the art and the artists. And we would like to also have artist talks. So the sculptors themselves, and we may do some other things. And we have ideas in progress since it is a year-long exhibit of events and other art-related things we could do in support of it. Our intention on this was to really bring art into those platforms and sculpture to downtown Bethel and to make it accessible for everyone to be able to see it and to enjoy it. So that is where we are. The artists, we have all agreed to be in it. We've sent out a contract. They've all signed it. Just tonight, I sent them back fully executed contracts. So we have 7 fully executed contracts from those artists. So their installation date is the week prior to the 26th. They are responsible for moving and all the costs associated with it. They are responsible for maintaining the sculpture during the entire term of the installation. If anything is damaged, etc., they are responsible for that. The only thing that we at Arts are doing is getting the liability insurance associated with that. Nothing, we're not sharing the sculpture itself. that is up to the artist, and that is in the contract. So that is really the long and short of it. So right now, here's the other important part, coming back to the fundraising. So we were approved for a grant from Sustainable Connecticut. It is a matching grant, meaning that we need to raise $7,500 to get $7,500. So if we raise $5,000, then they'll give us $5,000. So we have a number of efforts in order to raise our half of that, or the $7,500. I'm happy to say we have through sponsorships about $3,500 already in-house. Patronicity is an online fundraising platform. I said this link, you can go to our site. We are launching Monday, social media, etc., our marketing around getting people to Patronicity. There's a couple of requirements to get these grants. One, they have to be matching. Two, you have to have 75 distinct donations. And the third is no single donation can be more than 35% of your total. So more than 35% of the 75. So that is, I'm sorry, of the 15,000. So that is kind of the rules of the road, how that works, how we're planning on doing the fundraising. We are working on additional sponsorships from local businesses, and we are working on, we had a jazz concert scheduled for February the 8th, and unfortunately it was at WestCon, it was canceled because of the snowstorm that you may recall we had. We're looking at every scheduled date. That's causing us some damping with our cash flow timing, but we are finalizing the reschedule of that, and that will be a significant portion of the proceeds of that will go towards support of this, and the rest of it will go towards other efforts we have going on in Bethel Arts. So that is the update. So any questions on that, and then I can tell you the stuff I'd love for you guys to talk about.
Just a quick question. You said you'll be posting about Patronicity on Monday, or?
Yes. I mean, feel free to share this link.
Yeah.
We actually have an intern this semester from WestCon, and he's been doing a lot of our graphic stuff for us. So he's putting together our QR codes and our social media supporting marketing material.
Okay.
And it's not going to be prepared till Friday, so we're going to launch that on Monday. But this link is available right now. So if you want to send out people, go for it.
I'll repost when you post it.
Please do. Yeah, that would be great. That's if you when you see that, I really appreciate you reposting it and sending it out to your own networks of folks who might be interested in supporting it. We'd love donations of any size. $10 would be great. 2,000 would be awesome.
So 35% would be 5,000.
Right.
Yes.
So actually, I'm sorry. It is. I actually have to look at it. I think it is, now that I think about it, it is 35% of 7,500.
Okay.
So we can't and what's the math on that? $2,700. So right. So that's the max that we can have of a single sponsor.
Right.
So we can't have any single person donating
all those $10 donations.
We do.
So they make 75.
Right. So the good thing about the concert that we were doing is that each ticket is an individual. And so that was nice, because then each ticket could go towards this, because we do have somebody who's helping us underwrite that concert as well, which is wonderful. So anyway, we have work to do to close this gap, but I'm feeling pretty good about being able to get there. But we do need, and really a lot of this is we want people in the town, to know what we're doing and feel like they're part of it. So I'd love to get donations, as many as possible, of any size. So
Did someone from the Historical Society or someone go to an Historical Society meeting and present this? Because they have a space available for like talks or presentations or things like that.
We are considering how we might be able to use that space, whether it's
Okay.
to launch it for the artist talks. And actually, David, and I always screw up his last name.
Disraelian.
Is an artist and a sculptor who was
Yes,
honored during.
David Schlutzwalde?
Yes,
Schwalbe is what,
yeah.
sorry.
He did the-
Yes.
the
And
link,
he
yeah.
is also on the historical society.
He is. He's just recently on the board.
Yeah. So yeah, we are aware of that and would like and are considering how we can utilize that space.
Yeah, I think continue to along that path because they're very interested in.
Awesome. Good. So you're excited about that. So and then what we could use for you guys, please, as I said, let people know that this is happening, help us generate an excitement and getting people included in the process, and get to on your own social, let people know that we're doing this fundraising and that we'd love as many donations as possible. We still have quite a bit to do to get the launch plan, the event that we're launching it, and to finalize these tours and the artist talks and a lot of things we'd like to do during the course of the year. So if you have interest in participating in any of that, by all means, please let me know, and we would be happy to include you. And so that's really what I had.
I just have a quick question about the potential sites for the smaller sculptures.
Mhm.
Are you considering maybe in the municipal center? Because I know for Earth Day, we're going to use the bathrooms and sort of the front hall of the facilities. Maybe that could be a spot for
It could be.
one of them
Yeah.
potentially.
It could be. So I have to go back and look at the actual sizing. It could actually be. That's an interesting idea. We had thought about some additional outdoor locations. We also thought about the last time the sculpture exhibit that was done, it was 2017, I believe. I was involved in that one. They had the artists also contribute smaller pieces that they had so they could do an indoor show, and it was actually housed at the library. Then that was kind of cool too. So I think that that's something we could explore for Earth Day. In fact, we have a board meeting tomorrow, and so I'll bring that up.
Just a
I
thought.
think that's a good idea.
So along
Yeah.
those same lines, the two other ones that were
Uh-huh.
submitted that you were interested in, they're
Uh-huh.
smaller than
They are.
okay.
Yeah.
And what's the medium for the ones generally? Is it metal or is it?
Yeah, it's really a combination. So
Is
they were aware that it's going to be outside and it's going to be for a year.
Yeah.
So most of them submitted things that are pretty durable. Metal was pretty typical, but there's some that also have some wood. And I'm not going to claim to know all of them, what all of the materials are, but they are. As we get closer, what we could do is I can, through Catherine, share with you guys the images of those.
Oh, that would
They
be
did,
great.
they did submit images with their application.
Will they be on the website?
They are not yet. What we're
Because of
planning
the
on.
reveal.
Yeah. So here's what we're planning on doing is that because we have, some time now, what we're planning on doing is introducing the artists with a photo of them and their work and their background in a social media piece that talks about patronage space. That gives us 7 subjects or potentially 9 to go through each week. So we'll be revealing the images then. And they are really diverse. I love that. They picked ones, as I said, there was just so much talent that was submitted, but we were looking for things that are durable, are the right size, looked good together, and fit with our theme, which was having things that were related to sustainability and the environment, and that were beautiful. So they're a very diverse set of sculptures. As I said, I didn't get to pick them, but it was fun watching them.
Will they be available for purchase?
Oh, yes, they're all be available for purchase. And in fact, last time this was done, 2 of them sold. I don't know if any of you remember, there was one, and it was my favorite one. There was a beautiful one of a swan that was kind of in front of the library on the corner. Anyone remembers that? But anyway, so they are all for sale. They will all be priced, but they cannot leave the platforms till the end of the exhibit. And Bethel Arts gets a 25% commission on anything that's sold. So yes, they're all for sale and they've all been priced.
And then when you sell something, is the buyer responsible for like uninstalling and moving the sculpture, or is that something that?
You know what? The only thing that we do in the contract is tell the artist they're responsible for removing it. And if they want to make arrangements between the buyer and them, they're welcome to use
Thank you.
it. Yeah, you're welcome.
Any other questions?
Any other questions? We're really excited. Hope you guys are too.
Oh,
Yeah.
yes. Congrats on moving along with everything.
Thank you. Yeah, I have a good team of people working with you. You guys know it's hard to do anything without a team.
And the response you got was great.
So, we were a little
Wow.
bit worried. We were a little bit worried. We were
That's
like,
amazing.
time. We were like going, uh-oh. But then everybody, as we reminded people that they called, we had some folks reach out to artist friends and things.
Oh,
And then all of a sudden around Christmas and in the first couple weeks of January, we got daily instructions, which was great.
That's a good problem to have.
It is.
Yeah.
A good problem. It's a good problem.
That's great. Anything else from anybody? No? Thank you very
welcome.
much. We
I'm
are
just
so
gonna
looking
help.
forward. Yeah, when just send me whatever. I'll make sure that the commission gets that, so they can click on, the link. And then, yeah, we'll post it. We'll send it to, we have, a contact list. We'll send it all over the
Awesome.
place. Yeah,
And you know what I'll do is I'll make sure, Catherine, that you get, whatever materials we do for the launch of Patronistic
absolutely.
for Monday. All right.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, everybody.
Thank you very much.
Okay.
You too.
Okay, so the next item is consideration of approval minutes from January 15th. So moved. Second, all in favor?
Aye.
And abstain because
Abstaining.
this is new.
Wasn't here.
Okay, so chairman's report. So we have a new member, which you all have met and know, Krista Fiorini, who got sworn in yesterday.
Yesterday.
Congratulations. We're really happy to have you as
I'm
part of
happy to
our
be here.
commission. Krista brings a wealth of information, not only from her brain from before, her life before, but also head of the garden club
Yes.
and
president
a
of
whole
the
bunch of stuff that she's involved with her business in town and everything. So
Yeah.
looking forward to having you part of our commission. All right, so commissioner report. So I wanted to just really quickly kind of it's not really a reminder, I guess it is in a way, is from my point of view, the purpose of our commission, I mean, it's really a comprehensive approach to that connects our community, which focusing on livability, workability, economic opportunity, safety, affordability, accessibility, and environmental resilience. And it also, part of our mission is to strengthen community collaboration, connections that create a sustainable future for the town of Bethel in our small, impactful ways, whatever that is. We focus on people and culture, and something that I kind of like to call FAIR, which is fairness, access, inclusion, and representation, because we really are representing the whole town and everything that we do regarding this livability, workability, economic opportunity, et cetera. So I wanted to say that. We talked about that. We had Bethel Arts. And then we'll get to this other thing. So I just wanted to say also that the EV charging plan is moving forward. There were some changes related to how the utilities grant and the vendor list, and Titan Energy is working with Keon Energy and Economic Development to advance that. That's still advancing. I haven't really said much because it's kind of a slow-mo, so welcome to government, right? Let's see. In March, we are going to have a presentation and we'll talk about this a little later, the Solar for All. Our first selectman received information from the Solar for All Passagen last year related to solar, and Sunny went in a different direction, which was perfectly fine, but want to take a look at that. So they'll be here next month to give a presentation about that. And that would be a great opportunity for everybody to ask a bunch of questions about how all of that works. I also talked to Jan, I can't remember his last name, Friends of Parks and Rec. He's going to be coming here in April. So that will be before the Earth Day event. So that would be a great opportunity also to talk about what they're doing, not only with Perloa Park, but whatever plans they have in the future, and how the third space initiative, I'm turning my head so I can see you too, fits into the Perloa Park, which we talked about, the low pressure activation at Perloa Park. Chris and I had a long conversation about that also. So that'll be also an opportunity to kind of see how we collaborate with the Friends of Parks and Rec and all of that. See what else I want to talk about. We are continuing to advance the Main Street Accelerator program that Bethel was selected by the Main Street organization through the state of Connecticut. That is led by our economic development with a few small business people and representing Sustainable Bethel. So that is moving forward. It's a 6-month project that will at the end produce something related to marketing our downtown, branding and logo, and actually more of a collaboration connection with the small businesses in in the downtown area. It's focusing on the downtown area, and looking at how, to a tagline and a logo like this from what it was before with the chamber when they actually had someone working for them. Discover, experience downtown Bethel, creating experiences such as walking tours, highlighting when it's going on, park once and walk, those kind of things. So that is moving forward. It should be complete in June. And there is a potential for a micro grant of $5,000, which will help with this kind of effort. So something I wanted to bring to your attention that I didn't get a chance to last month, there is an opportunity to install a P.T. Barnum mural at Town Hall. So the gentleman who actually painted a P.T. Barnum mural that was installed at one of the rest stops. His name is Breck Morgan. I don't know if you know him. He's a muralist in the state of Connecticut. He lives in I can't remember. I think it's Milford. Anyway, he is a muralist in the state of Connecticut. He did this amazing mural of P.T. Barnum in 1989, and it was commissioned by the state of Connecticut. It was installed at one of the rest stops, but they took it down in the 1990s because they did improvements to a renovation at the rest stop on I-84, and it was in their storage. And so the story is, I bumped into him at one of his exhibits recently in November, and we were talking, and he says, "Gosh, I wonder where my mural went." And I said, "Oh, I'll find out where it went." So I called a friend of mine at the Connecticut Office of the Arts. She says, "Oh my gosh, I was just looking at that." And as we know, P.T. Barnum has history here in Bethel, right? So back and forth, we met with them, the Connecticut Office of the Arts. We met with the artists, and we're looking at hopefully installing this beautiful mural at Town Hall, where there'll be a lot of and have it be in all the way back, because there's a lot of activity there. So I just want to let you know that is something that is.
How large is it?
It's big. It's 23 feet by 6 feet long, high. And it's P.T. Barnum. And there's a lot of history here. There's a lot of families in Bethel that, have historic relevance to that.
Is it for outdoors?
No,
Or indoors?
it's an indoor. It's an indoor. Yeah. Yeah. So there's an opportunity because there's so much activity here at Town Hall that people will be able to see. You can see it from the outside. People that come in will be able to see it. So that's part of historic preservation, right? There's a lot of educational component to it. So that's something that it's not going to happen overnight, obviously, but the mural itself will be sent to Breck Morgan because then he can start. It actually is in pretty good shape, but he wants to see if there's some pieces that he needs to kind of touch up and renovate a little more before the installation. The state will help with the installation costs, et cetera, and the renovation costs. Cool. Yeah, I think it's awesome.
Where is it gonna go?
So,
On the window or on the wall?
wall. So then, where you go to see where the gym is,
Isn't that wall
they have stuff on
glass
it
doors? Or are you just saying like on either side?
in the middle. Yeah, there's gonna have to be some renovations to that space to fit it. Or not, it fits actually. When we measured it, it fits perfectly actually. But there's stuff on the wall that probably that's non-functional that would have to come down, and then the wall would have to be painted, et cetera. Then this is part of the conversation. Then on the windows, because it's pretty bright when you go in there, the sun is pretty bright. So there would have to be a film, and that's something that, he's used to doing stuff like that. And so is the Connecticut Office of the Arts. They understand all of that. Yeah.
So who's funding that?
Hmm?
Who is funding that?
Well, the state will pay for the renovation. Yeah, and then there's the installation. So we, since we're registered with this Sustainable Connecticut, we can get another community match grant for that too. So there's opportunity there. Again, we need to take advantage of all of that. So that's something else that can be done. Just like the Friends of Parks and Rec, if we do that third space, they can take advantage of the community management. which is really great. Relates to the Repair Cafe, that's not dead. They had a space, but then that fell through, but they have another committed space for a regional repair cafe. And we will be part of that because we are part of the 19 towns. And it's going to be at the Disabled American Veterans in Danbury, which is close to the mall. And they're planning, they're hoping in the fall. So
what is the repair?
so I think I'm gonna let Katie explain that because she's the one that brought it to my attention.
It's just where you gather local businesses that often do repairs like tailors or bike repair, computer repair people. You get them in one space and you have an event that if people need something repaired, they can come in, they can talk to somebody and maybe get a repair. If they can't, then they can
Make
get
arrangements.
information. Yeah.
Yeah.
More arrangements to get repaired. Yeah.
Okay.
But it's just a way of getting local businesses more business.
Well, and also not
things
throwing
like
it
that.
away.
Yeah.
Exactly.
When you-
Reuse.
So in terms of participating as a repair person, how can you be involved that way? Or how can somebody get involved to be a repair
At this event,
at
Or-
the place, at the,
I'm not organizing.
No,
it.
this is done
Or-
through HRA, but yeah, there'll be an opportunity for that. Definitely for people who have skills like that, for sure.
Who is arranging it?
Housatonic Regional,
Regional.
oh my God, Resource Recovery
Okay.
Authority.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I was just wondering because this past week volunteering at the food pantry, one of the clients was telling me about how he repairs computers and things like that. He was like showing me pictures and I was just like, oh, that would be cool. And I immediately thought of the repair cafe and wondered what was happening. So
This is, well, it's timely, right?
yeah,
I didn't know about it until now.
yeah.
I just found out because I hadn't been to a meeting in so long. And then I zoomed in and I'm like, oh my gosh. And the Jennifer, the executive director says, for Catherine, the repair cafe is happening. Because I kept asking like every couple of weeks, what's going on with the repair cafe? That's why I haven't said anything. But yeah, it's happening. So they didn't have a place and now they do.
So I know I signed up, the garden club signed up for Earth Day. And that was one of the questions on the
Yeah.
thing, but like there was no other information.
Right, because we were trying to gather who might be interested in a repair cafe, but unfortunately, there doesn't seem to be overlap between the Earth Day booths and repair cafe.
Okay. No, but I was just a little like, when I went through the process of registering the club, then I was like, okay, what is the repair cafe? What does it include? What do I, so like, I didn't know how to answer the question because I didn't have enough information about what it was about.
Okay.
So I don't know, what is the timing on that?
They're hoping by the fall.
So is it something that we should be putting information out?
No, not yet. No.
No, I mean, for Earth Day.
Oh, Earth Day. Oh. About the repair cafe?
If
I don't have
announced
it. I
by
don't have
then-
any information other than what I just told you. When they
Okay.
have,
Yeah,
I'll
but I
repost.
think you need to put some little tidbits out there to get people who, like your computer guy, who might say, hey, that might be something I'd be interested in participating. But he doesn't know anything about it yet, right?
Yeah, I don't think I don't think the people managing the cafe or the whole process of it have gotten to the place where they're actually taking people in yet.
Okay.
For us to disseminate whatever information to get people involved. That's why I was asking.
yeah,
Yeah.
that's it. That's what I'm trying to say, but I wasn't articulating that very well. But yeah, all I have is that they have a place and they're hoping that it'll be, their goal is to have it, that they'll launch it and have an event in the fall. So
Okay.
when I get information or we get information, yes, that will be distributed and they're going to want everybody to participate. Every one of the 19 towns that under their umbrella, under their organization that they, so.
Is Wilton involved? Because they had a big repair cafe.
Yes. Tammy, oh my gosh, what's her last name? She was the one that ran it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because Wilton's one of the, and she works for them also. For-
HRA?
She does. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
In addition to the other that she does. Yeah. So absolutely. I think she's the one who's actually going to manage this because she's familiar with it and knows what's going on, how that works. And it's not on my list, but let me just tell you one more thing. So Dan also got an information by a company called iRecycle, and they're a mobile recycling company. So they go from town to town, and it's kind of like the shred it, but it's recycling. So I have a meeting with the representative on Friday to see how that would work. But I'm thinking maybe just have it. And I said to Dan, I said, I don't know how this all works. And I don't want to let's pilot it at Earth Day. And we can, so I'll talk to him, Michael Stelling, I think, on Friday to see, just come and he can promote it. We can promote it. People can bring their recycling, see how it works. And if it makes sense, then we can think about a larger program for the town of Bethel.
What are we recycling other than what we already recycled?
Whatever he recycles, yeah, but it's a mobile unit instead of you know what I'm saying? It's kind of like he's just kind of there, yeah.
Okay.
So I'll find out more. I'm not really sure, but he's got a website and this sort of just came up and I'm like, yeah, we can try it out. I'll talk to him. That's fine. Why not? If there's another option for people to recycle versus having to go to the transfer or however, it's done or people do it. Why not? Right.
I listened to the last meeting, because you post the video. And I found it interesting about the polystyrene, the styrofoam recycling, because basically they're just like shredding it and it's still the same stuff. It's just the density is less. But I went to their website and they actually are reusing it in other products. So this is, I have to look at I don't know what the organization is, but there's organizations that look at what is the waste of one company and is that the raw material or could be reused in another company's product. And so it sounds like this, because styrofoam, and I'm going to geek out on you for a second. It's a thermoset. So like it's like an epoxy. So when you mix the two components together, it puffs up and creates the styrofoam. It's not like a water bottle, like the recyclable PET water bottles, where it has a thermal history where you can melt it down and make it into something new. So once you have that, and that's the definition of a thermoset, is that it, when the two components go together, then it forms whatever it is, and you can't recycle it back, like melt it down and make it into something new. So I found it interesting when they were saying this, like, how are you, they were saying recycling, but basically what they're doing is they're shredding it and making it into more compact. Mm-hmm. But then there was a paper on, I think it's Green Saver is the company who makes the shredder machine. Mm-hmm. And they had a paper on there that was talking about how then they take that and they offer it to other companies to make like the in a picture frame or in different products. How they
Which is really what you want.
Exactly.
That's the cycle, right?
Exactly. So it's not recycled in the same fashion, but it's being able to sort of kind of like the repair cafe, being able to connect the people who have the materials with somebody who needs that as their raw material.
Right, and that's
waste.
Part of the
So
goal.
it was.
Yeah.
It was
that company in Bethel?
No, I don't know. It was Green Saver is the company who makes the shredder machine. And on their website was a paper, like they attended a conference or something like that, and then they give presentations. And it was one of the presentations that was on their website that talked about how then, once they've shredded up and collected the material, how then they take it or offer it to someone else as their raw material for something that they're producing.
Right, but it's
So-
separate from Power 2.
But Power 2 is doing the recycling, which is good.
Okay, so then
No,
it just goes to that other place.
Power 2 has a machine that is shredding up
Right.
the styrofoam. And then it's being collected,
Right.
and then some other companies, you know, there's
But I-
like some kind of networking going on
I
that,
don't know if it's being collected by the company. I think it's being disposed of still. But they are lowering their cost of disposal because they're compacting.
They're compacting it, yeah. They're
So
not,
that's
yeah.
why they got the machine is to lower their disposal costs. So
and that is part of
I-
why
they're still
styrofoam is not
disposing it,
recycled. Not only is it a thermoset, but also it's light material, it's bulky. And so like you wouldn't normally pick it up or recycle it. They, you know, when you look on the HRRA site, it basically says, put it in your trash.
Right.
So, but when you have that kind of volume that Power 2 has, you can't, I mean, that's just absurd.
So you should be on that call with me on Friday.
Okay,
I'll let you know.
okay. Is it afternoon?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, whatever you think you can do to encourage that reusing,
Mhm.
please do.
I'll look a little bit deeper into, where like because
Where
there's
the
gotta be
connection
some
could be,
kind of
yeah.
network, like who needs shredded up styrofoam in their products to. I do know also that some companies who ship large bulky things also take back their styrofoam because they can then put it on the next thing that goes out. So they're leaving it in the form that it's in so that they can package up the next thing and reuse it. I know. I used to work for Perkin-Elmer and they,
Right, that's
They
what
do
I'm
that.
saying, your other life.
so,
Oh, go
Uh,
ahead, Pam.
Go off the recycling topics. There's recycling from your curbside, and then there's recycling like specialty items like batteries. Is there, you might know this, a map of everywhere in town that has battery recycling or XYZ recycling? Is that something we can put together? Is that
I
something
thought there
we
was
could have?
something related,
I think
isn't there
so.
something on the town site related to
the transfer station.
transfer
I think,
station has a list of. Yeah,
But
not a map, it's not a map, it's just a list.
I recycle my, like if you, the C or D or double A batteries, you can take those to Staples and they'll recycle them.
Yeah, but like if you're just like the average person, how do you know you go to Staples?
You don't,
You don't,
Exactly.
yeah.
yeah, no, that's a really good.
And
that's
I
a good
think
point.
too, like I know from curbside recycling, it kind of goes back to what you were saying at the last meeting was like, you know, you separate it all out or you do one stream or whatever. Like, how do you know that this goes to glass and this goes to plastic and that goes to, I've been taking my recycling to the transfer station and they have the big bins where, you know, here's glass, here's plastic, here's thin film, you know, so you know that it's being separated and used properly. But I have my same question mark about the pickup from the curbside, like, because I see them throw it into the thing.
But Sandy brings up a really good point, because most people, I mean, you have a general idea, right? Like you said.
Like, I
It's just
think there's
those
one
other
at Target.
things,
Like,
yeah.
I don't,
So that actually is a good.
and there's a company whose name is escaping me right now, but there's like other real specialty type recyclings that they do that like it might be interesting to get like a box and see if people are
Yeah.
interested in recycling these specialty
to,
items.
to start getting a list going of how you can.
Well, there is a
recycle some of
list,
it.
but I think it's more of an education and a communication to
And ex-
people what to do,
And
right?
expanding the types of things we can recycle as well.
Yeah, I think the Deep site has some information about that because I went on the HRRA website and they have a list of the things that are basically taken curbside. But then it's like, they had a little clicky thing that said, how do I recycle ... And you click on that and it takes you to the Deep site. And this is all while I was investigating styrofoam.
Again, what, I know that we're gonna do that, but like the average everyday person is not clicking here, clicking there and figure out how to recycle this obscure item.
No, it's putting together a communication campaign about that and
And I think it
educating
should-
people about it.
And I think it should be at the transfer station because I ask at the transfer station about recycling like C batteries, D batteries, blah, blah, blah. Oh, just throw them in your trash. I was like, I don't think so. That's a caustic material. So I don't really want it to, because we incinerate our trash is how, so anything that's not recycled is incinerated. So if you're putting batteries in there, that's not really, I know they have scrubbers and stuff, but it's not really good.
So we can, this is all good that we're talking about this and we'll meet with our recycle on Friday and see where this goes. The other part of what they do is if somebody, an organization, I'm just going to make it up, like a Boy Scouts or another nonprofit organization wants a partner, it can be part of a fundraising for that organization as well. So they'll help with that.
Yeah.
So I think this could have some legs as far as communicating about,
Right.
to the
And
public.
I think to go a step further in creating a list is, like our youth is where we really should be concentrating on educating.
Maybe have it in
And-
schools, maybe have a couple little things. in
Yeah,
schools.
and like, where does my trash go? And, like
I used to
there,
do a unit like that.
yeah.
You
And
can
did
find
you
a
have
parent
like
if you
little
go there.
movies or something? that
Yeah, I
showed
used to play
people?
video clips from different places around the world and how they would basically manufacture the plastics. So yeah, I would teach how the petroleum refinement process happens,
Mhm.
how the trash gets collected, how the recycling gets sorted, if certain things get reused and remade into things.
Uh-huh,
It was preschool, so it was all like very
Yeah.
basic level, but they get it.
yeah. And I think, that's our future, really. And they're gonna go home and say something to their parents. And I know I have talked to numerous people and they say, well, I don't recycle, I just throw it in the trash because they don't sort it and recycle it anyway. And I'm like,
I mean, I think that if we had all the funds in the world, the real campaign would be to eliminate fossil fuel subsidies so that these plastics aren't manufactured, so that there is no need for
well, you can't
imperfect
you can't
plastics. or recycling.
you can't remanufacture all plastics.
Right.
But think of all the things in our life that are plastics. I mean, I think it's just a lot of it is cutting down on virgin plastic.
Mhm.
So, okay.
Okay, that's my report. This was a great conversation. Anything else related to anything I said? Oh, what else? Go ahead.
Can you, and, what's the solar? What, can you?
Well, we'll get, yes. It's funny,
Oh,
usually
okay. Is
covers
that-
that, but, yeah. I'm gonna
Okay.
say something just real quick because she's not here. She couldn't
Okay.
be here, but yeah. Anything else related to what I said?
Yeah, can I
Oh,
interject
hi,
something?
Pierre.
Hi
I
there.
see you there, so
That's okay. I've been waiting for some time.
go ahead.
So just a thought about the P.T. Barnum
Yes,
mural
please.
that you were talking about. The library also has, we had a generous donor who donated a whole bunch of P.T. Barnum memorabilia, photographs, postcards, all sorts of things. And it is displayed in the Seeley House. there's a special place for that. And of course, we've got our P.T. Barnum statue on the library grounds.
Yes.
So I was thinking that perhaps one of the things that we want to do when this mural is unveiled is perhaps create a walking guide or sort of like what you were just talking about with the recyclables, put together something that just says, by the way, did you know, here's the place where Barnum was born or lived or whatever, here's what's happening at the Sealy House. Here's the island that was so famous. So, we could put something like that together because I think is that part of some of what we're going for our next level of certification? To have events and that kind of thing.
That, it is a possibility, as far from that point of view. But I hadn't really thought about that. But I like your idea definitely about the walking tour because that kind of ties into the whole marketing component for the downtown area as well as one of the walking tours and P.T. Barnum. That would be so awesome. So yeah, when we get to I agree with you. When we get to that point of where it's going to be unveiled, we should include that as part of the whole unveiling.
Yeah,
definitely.
So I just wanted to plant that seed. So as all of that is going forward, let's start putting our heads together as to, what that walking tour could include and how to publicize that and roll it all in together.
And so it doesn't necessarily have to only be when it gets unveiled and launched. We could have something on a quarterly basis too, or whenever, people want to get together related to that. But I think it's a great idea. I like it.
Well, you create a guide and then the guide is there and it can be on the town website. It can be on the library website. It can be wherever, but you would unveil it at that point. So, and you can make it as part of the downtown different events for sure. But just a thought.
No, it's a great idea.
Tia, do you know, is there a movie? Is there a P.T. Barnum movie that was made?
Yeah.
Great.
So that might be something too. I don't know if they can show that at the library.
Possibly. I mean, there's all sorts of legalities around showing movies that people always forget about. But we can look into that. I'm just thinking this should be an event. I mean, we can make this into an event as opposed to just an unveiling. And I think it should be conscious about that because it's another way of talking about Bethel, like you're saying, branding, marketing, and driving back to this whole aspect of sustainability. I mean, what better than recycling a mural in the town?
Isn't that great? I know.
If you think about it, in the highest form of the idea of recycling, that's sort of what's old is new again. And you're giving life and putting things into different situations. So it's
right. It went from a rest stop to the town of Bethel.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Exactly. Yeah. So just a thought about that.
It's a good thought. It's a very good thought. Definitely.
The movie idea is a really good idea. I think we could also maybe bring in Greenwood features for that.
Yes.
Pull in a local business.
I
That'd be cool.
think they showed it originally. I think it was, I forget now who starred in it, but it's like a feature length movie about P.T. Barnum and his life. And then there's also the museum in Bridgeport that burned, and the Historical Society was talking about having someone come in and speak about the progress of the refurbishing that or renovation of that museum. So that might be something to draw in with the Historical Society if they're going to have that speaker, to maybe have that also.
Yeah, this is such an opportunity for the town of Bethel and for the region, quite frankly. And Greenwood Features is a great idea too, because they not only have movies there, but they have talks like artist talk. So that's an opportunity for that too. Okay.
Yeah, there's multiple P.T. Barnum things that can happen, and I'm not sure. I don't remember when his birthday is. You know,
I think it's in
But,
July.
yeah, that's what I was thinking. I think it was summertime something, but whenever. Just and it's also a way of bringing a lot of different organizations together, like the
Yes.
Historical Society, blah blah blah. So, just food for thought.
Yes, it's a great connecting initiative. Yes, Dana.
Would they be willing to do like a portion of the proceeds and then we could kind of fill in any funding gaps for the restoration or the installation?
But there's definitely yes. So
July 5th,
is what his birthday?
his birthday.
Okay. There we go. Yes. Definitely not. Okay, is there anything else related to the chairman's report? Okay. We're still at the first place.
Sorry, I talked a lot.
All right. Earth Day. So for Earth Day, we've been reaching out to vendors, the people that have participated or shown interest in years past, some new engagement. I think Katie posted the event, so it's been up for a while. People are signing up to have a booth or to
20 booths.
20 booths or to donate. Or to promote. So, just touching base with people, trying to get them to sign up. I met with somebody that represents GoNet Speed about potentially joining the festivities and maybe sponsoring something like extending the obstacle course for the games or something simple that could add to the event while they're doing their thing. I also spoke to friends of Parks and Recs, and they're going to help finish planning the games. So we were talking about that, and it seems like they're going to come up with some ideas. So we'll have more info on that to come. That's pretty. I spoke to Tiffany at HRA, and she is in need of somebody to help promote the food scrap program at Earth Day because they can't make it because they have another commitment already. So I don't know who it. Yeah. So I know Sustainable Bethel Commission is going to have its own table and booth. So I guess one of us, somebody, if they're able to take on that sort of promotion. We've done it in previous events. I still have some of the bins that we can give out and give away. So yes, we definitely need the commissioner's commitment to come and volunteer the day of April 26th, starting at 10 to 12 for Trashpalooza and 11 to 2 for the Earth Day Fair. So we're going to need people to be at our Sustainable Bethel Commission booth table, but then also helping out, walking around with like games and just helping take pictures and helping vendors get to where they need to get to and all the logistical stuff. Yeah, we spoke to Parks and Recs and they're ready to help out with the physical space, also some materials, and they're planning their own fundraising at their table. Bethel Land Trust is helping with Trashapalooza and is helping Bethel Lions Club with the sapling giveaway, aside from their table booth that's going to have informational materials, and that's all I'm involved with around Earth Day.
That's a lot.
And I was actively trying not to take things on, so we'll get there.
I'm working, or I'm trying to figure out a sign design. I know Power 2 wants to be involved. I know you suggested that they could maybe sponsor the lawn sign or something.
Yeah, she's gonna get back to me this week sometime, so.
Oh, you wrote back to them, you replied.
No.
Wait,
To who?
Power 2?
No,
Oh, okay.
No.
Who's getting back to them?
go NetSpeed.
Oh, okay.
Because I mentioned lawn signs as a potential option.
Okay.
So she's gonna check in with her team and see what they
Okay.
are.
Because I think you mentioned that in a reply to me about Power 2, how they could be involved with something.
Do they want to sponsor music?
Maybe.
Ooh, that would be nice.
Or were the DJs you sent, they would be
I-
like paid?
So I looked at some of them get paid, some of them pay, just get paid tips, and
Yeah.
maybe because it's Thursday instead of Bethel, it might be an option,
Okay.
but regardless, what it is, they could sponsor, and that could be sponsored by, right?
Right. I think they were also just trying to figure out something that they could do, like a video that they could make or something for, I still have to pick someone's brain about it, but okay.
Yeah, I just gave it as an option, so I don't know if it's
Okay.
gonna happen.
And then a couple meetings ago, it was suggested I reach out to animal rescues or Audubon societies to come around, so I will reach out to some.
If you get their emails, I'll just send the generic email
Okay,
with the links and stuff.
Okay.
As long as you find the contact info, I'll send it.
Okay.
Make it easier. Because it's copy paste at this point.
I think that's it.
Any questions? Okay. Okay. So solar, I already talked about that. Passagen will be here next month to talk about their solar for all. Sunny usually heads that up. Last in the fall, she did a whole spoke to a lot of different solar companies, and I believe 2 finally responded. We had a good workshop, in-person workshop. There were about 10 residents. Very engaging workshop, a lot of questions. I have no idea if people actually did anything with the solar, but it was a really good workshop. And then we had an online workshop for people, and the 4 people were very engaged as well. So I think it's my own little investigative research, regardless of where the federal funding is, there is a huge demand for solar. And the reason is because our utilities are pretty high. So people that can either afford the solar or can look to other programs to get solar to help them reduce their utility costs, I think that's something to give them an option. So
I think we're gonna invite that
Yeah.
solar.
absolutely.
How is the solar working out at the transfer station and at the,
not
because
sure.
it might be interesting to
Yeah.
to kind of follow up on that. And, is there any kind of program for the school roofs or parking lots?
My understanding, way back when, when there was an energy commission here that got folded into Sustainable Bethel, and the solar farm was installed, right? And that provides energy and to a couple of buildings at the schools.
5
And
municipal buildings.
yeah, 5, okay. There was a desire to continue to, like a phase 2. There was a grant that was available through DEEP, but then nothing happened with that. And it's something that the town of Bethel wants to pursue, but then DEEP pulled back all of those grants. Is there a desire to do some type of solar canopies on parking lots? Yeah, that would be great.
It seems to be like a no-brainer.
It is.
to
It
me.
is a no-brainer. It's like a nothing. It's like it's a nothing burger. But yeah, it hasn't gotten to that point.
Yeah.
So I think, at least for now, given that we are working volunteer commission, if we can provide options for people
to get solar residential, that would be a really great thing. I would love to, look into other programs related to commercial solar or, extending and advancing these other type of initiatives.
I think too, the technology has gotten a lot better.
Oh, yeah.
Where the energy storage and that type of
Yes.
thing is a lot better than it has been in the past.
The panels themselves are way more efficient.
Yeah. And now, is there any issue with the Eversource buying back power?
No, they're
No,
pretty good at that.
because because sometimes I hear it's not so much commercial, but more residential as far as buying back power.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, if you're hooked up and it's part of the
grid.
Yeah, it's part of the enrollment when you sort of hook up to the
Right.
grid.
Does anyone know ballpark cost?
It depends on how many panels you end up getting on your home. I think that always depends on how much energy you need. In terms of, you're talking about like the rate of.
No, just, like a couple of years ago, my husband and I had somebody come in and give us a presentation about, putting solar on our house, and it would be like the east side of the roof faces the backyard, so you wouldn't necessarily see it from the front of the house and all that sort of thing. And even with the grants and things like that, and that you could get back, it was quite expensive. It was like in the $40,000 range. And
How many years was this?
I'm gonna say probably 5 years ago.
I think it's come down. I think maybe around 20, 30.
Yeah.
I think it all ultimately depends how large your needs are.
Yeah. So,
And there are different programs too.
Yeah.
For people. So anyway, we'll hear more about it.
yeah.
Next
looking
month, and I
forward to
think be prepared with a lot of questions. I think it's important that we understand it, because it would be great if we could provide some good information to residents who would like to reduce their utility costs. Because it is kind of a little bit of to understand how it works, and how the benefit works. So anyway.
Yeah, I mean, just to close off that, I think it's important to provide options
Mhm.
in the market, because the market is there. People are interested. And providing as many options available to Bethel residents as consumers can only help, because not everybody owns their home, so it's not an option for
Right.
everybody, but providing different aspects or different needs or different services that would get at either energy efficiency or energy reduction, whatever the case would be. I think it just adds to the vibrancy of our economic region, really. So
Yeah, and providing an option for people who want to reduce their utility costs. Yeah.
right, and the obvious sustainable long-term benefits.
Anything else on the solar? Okay, the Westcom Stewart project.
They gave us some feedback on our version of the proposal right now. We have to solidify a little bit more directly the desired outcomes. And I know that from the different surveys we've done, Bethel residents are interested in open space. So that's certainly one of the considerations. I know also invasive species mitigation and sort of climate resilience for floodings and different things that happen with storms. So yeah, hopefully the health of the region will somehow be protected and preserved. And so yeah, we're going to narrow down a little bit more, work on the wording, and then the department heads for the graduate students mentioned April being sort of when the students start applying to the assistantships. So that is when we should have our proposal finalized, and hopefully people are interested and will participate.
That's great. Is there a particular space that you're looking at, or? is
So
it-
that's part of figuring it out. That's part of the internship, like what sort of designated land for open space, which of those lands that the town owns would be best for preserving the health of the region.
So, like a watershed or?
Potentially.
Yeah.
It would be determined. The graduate students are all in biology.
Integrated biology.
Thank you. Integrated biology. So it really can be anything in terms of what the students are looking into. It's just a matter of finding somebody that are interested in the same things we are interested in.
Right, and these are all good. And you guys can decide. So the other thing that would be great if we can, because the open space is so important to our residents, is how all of this fits into the connectivity and the trails that people can also enjoy, while at the same time biodiversity preservation and also the invasive species. So
Yeah, I think when we talk about this to the public, we're going to have to define open space. Just so people are aware of like what we're talking about. But in terms of the graduate students as well, I think they get it.
One of the, I'm putting on my garden club hat. One of the largest issues, say like in McCower Park and the land trust property that is around there, is Phragmites. And it's an invasive species, and it has a root network that is just like crazy. And if you go like down, as if you were going to go to Staples or something, and you go down past McCower Park and you drive along that area, and I think part of that is Eversource's property. It's all Phragmites. The land trust owns on the right-hand side. That's all Phragmites. There is an issue with Phragmites in the pond area of McCower Park. That pond is, from my understanding, what happened was it used to have fish in it, which kept it relatively clean. But then we had a very, very cold winter, like a number of years ago, back when Eileen was part of Park and Rec, and the fish died. And so now part of the reason that pond is so scummy is because there's no fish. And so it's just sort of stagnant water, which then the Phragmites, because it's neighboring, moved in. And then you have a couple of issues. I mean, we can go offline and talk about this, but you have issues because one of the mediating, like how to control it is to mow it. And I know Eileen was mowing around it, but then people came in. Rain gardens were installed at McCower Park by the Housatonic Valley Association, which is more about watersheds and that kind of thing. And they said that the geese then, if you mow the Phragmites down and they see the water, then the geese like gather on the lawn. Then you've got a problem with the poop.
Yep.
Yeah. So like you sort of have this like ecosystem that needs to somehow be addressed.
So if you're interested in joining us with the internship thing,
I would be.
okay, so when we meet, I'll reach out to you as well. And I think also we're gonna have to hook you up with Kristen Peterson from the Bethel Lions Club, because she is super interested in cleaning up the pond.
And I thought that Park and Rec had actually asked a company to come in and look at that.
I think it was
and
beyond.
do some type of treatment. The other thing that you can do that might be a little more involved is aeration. So if you start, because part of the problem is the water is stagnant. So if you, and there used to be like a fountain thing in there, but I think it's all probably deteriorated. So if you could somehow bring in, like they do down at where the dam is off of 53 with the reservoir, they have a fountain that circulates the water, and that's what's preventing the algae and the like phragmites from getting into there. But you also have a nice little turtle population going on at McCower Park, so you have to be thinking about what. And then there's other things like bittersweet and
I think also just the actual maintenance of it, the Parks and Recs team is quite small, so to add
Yes.
additional like landscaping maintenance isn't, there's a lot to consider.
yeah. But well, we can talk offline about it because
That's gonna be like a
I think there-
long-term type
I
of.
think that there's something that this group could do to make some really good recommendations. And, yeah, and I think also, I think Deep has some grants for doing some big projects that, you know, not just like small, but something that would incorporate the whole pond and be able to somehow improve that.
Lovely to talk about that.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
No, that's fine. I think this is all great. I'm glad you're gonna be part of the team here. Okay, anything else on WestCon stuff? Nope, okay. Kelly is still in California working to rebuild regarding with the fires. She has put together, well, she has a team here to deal with the conversation that she had last month, but they haven't settled on a date when to put that together. So she'll have more next month. So there's nothing on that. The Connecticut 250, I spoke to Dan. He's putting together the team. So
Is it?
yeah.
I mean, what he does.
Yeah, I know.
Who?
Oh, so anyway, it's the 250th year anniversary for after the Declaration of Independence, right?
So I did a little
So the state of
research.
Connecticut has put out to every 169 towns, you know, we'd like to celebrate. So Dan is putting together a team of people representing that. Gabriella has volunteered to be representing on that committee. This won't be till 2026, obviously. So,
But I think,
far away.
I-
It's well over there.
I do know that the Historical Society Board is talking about it and how they want to be involved. And I did a little bit of research. So it's actually the 250th anniversary of the signing of the Declaration of Independence, which was actually, a committee was formed in June of 1776. And then some, you know, iterations and corrections were done. And it was adopted on July 4th, but it wasn't signed by the 56 delegates of the Continental Congress until August 2nd.
Oh, okay.
So, you know, I was just thinking about, in general, having some type of event doesn't necessarily have to be on July 4th because you already have the firecracker race and there's a lot of stuff already going on in Bethel at that point in time. So the actual signing, and I found it interesting on the internet that it doesn't necessarily, a lot of it, the information says that it was signed on July 4th, but it was not. It was August 2nd that it was actually signed. And I was thinking of other organizations that might be interested. I know the Historical Society had talked about possibly, you know, being in costume kind of thing. And this is like when the Revolutionary War went, you know, because basically we're declaring our independence from England. And so when that occurred, it actually the fire was starting. And so the Revolutionary War actually started in 1775 and went to.
Excuse me, I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt, but are there a lot of things left? I have to be somewhere at 8:30 and I'm not sure if there's anything left on the agenda or whatever.
No, I think we're good. So yeah, if you have to go,
Okay,
that's fine. Thank you, Tia.
thank you. Bye.
We'll talk to you soon. Okay, go ahead.
So I was just thinking that the Historical Society definitely wants to be involved. I was thinking the Chamber,
Yeah,
veterans
he's
And-
got a
and-
list and they're on
okay.
there, yeah.
and Boy Scouts, because there's a badge that they can do. And Daughters of the American Revolution, I think there's a chapter in Danbury. Also in the South Street Cemetery, there's a Revolutionary War monument in the center of the cemetery. And then there were four members of the Continental Congress from Connecticut that signed the Declaration. Roger Sherman, Samuel Huntington, William Williams, and Oliver Wolcott. And it would be maybe interesting to do, to think about doing something on those people. And the Scouts badge actually talks about researching. It's a patriotic badge is what it is. So researching. So I was thinking that maybe it could tie together. And I also went to the state site, the 20, if you just type in 250th anniversary independent in Connecticut, it comes up with this really good website. And Sherman is on there as and has a lot of research about him, but it also has some research about some events that occurred in Danbury. And we were a part of Danbury at that time. I was thinking that instead of being like this total Revolutionary War stuffy thing, to try to get some of the youth involved and learning about what it is to be an American and what people went through to gain their independence. So
Those are good points. And what I assume when the committee meets, they'll, all of that will be talked about in some way. You have some ideas too, Gabriella. Anyway. Is there anything else related to that? Nope. Okay. Is there any other business?
I just wanted to add that I will be presenting the walk audit summary report at the Board of Selectmen at one of their next meetings, the 18th of March. So Dan Carter invited me to make that presentation to the board so that they hear the results that were captured through the walk audit of the Stony Hill Route 6 area. And yeah, part of the grant that was received in terms of like the design engineering aspects of it. So he wants the supporting evidence to, continue to add to that project.
So to that point, that Gabriella's giving that presentation, one of the goals of doing the walk audit was to, and this is part of our mission, is to do these type of initiatives and have the town apply for grants, which he did. He took the information, applied for a grant. He got, I think it was $160,000 for a design engineering grant for that area. So they'll put those plans together. Then they'll have to go out again to apply for another grant to actually construct and install those recommendations. So giving the presentation to the Board of Selectmen is critically important. So we can have those improvements in that area. And so they understand the importance of the data and the information. Yeah, it is really important.
Is there any green space for there at all?
Yeah, the agricultural center and that whole, yeah, that whole preserve. Somebody made a comment on the YouTube that they're like, it's more than just the farmers market. There's a bunch of different programs that happen there. So it is the agricultural center. So yeah, I don't know exactly. It doesn't have anything to do with the Bethel walk audit per se, other than it is a preserve that's there that ought to be maintained as a preservation.
I was just wondering, because you were talking about the third space kind of thing, to maybe incorporate it a little bit more.
I'm
because
sure
it
that
is-
when they figure out the whole figuring out of it all, we'll get to have ideas.
Yeah, well, I know, they had the Master Gardener program there and 4-H and,
Right.
and all that in that barn in the back. And I don't see that being utilized very much. It would be nice to see it used.
Yeah. So
And then another space is where the baseball diamonds are.
I'll share with you the report. It's all
Okay.
it's captured.
Captured, yeah.
So that's why it's really important for these improvements to be made, so it's walkable, because right now it's like a highway.
Oh, I know.
And it's
Can't-
really scary. So if you look over there and you want to go to Pete's Deli, you literally have to get in your car to go
Well,
across the street.
And it's like the sidewalk ends and then it starts on the other side of the road
Right.
and you're like,
Exactly.
like, how am I gonna get over there?
Right. I think it's so important for quality of life of older people to maintain independence, to be able to get around on their own, that, if they're no longer able to drive, they can rely on public transport if that's available. Hopefully it will see improvements. If not, the people that, are dependent on their own vehicle, they will have more access to parking because other people can walk there safely without being run over by a vehicle that just decides not to stop because there aren't
there's
enough
no
crosswalks. Right. And there's no safety beacons that can initiate a traffic stop so that people can cross safely. They don't work. So yeah, that was all captured. I'll show you.
Oh, that's great.
So is there any other business? Do I hear a motion to adjourn?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. So Casey, I stand corrected. I thought it was gonna be short because I walked in. It's gonna be a short meeting.
She didn't know I talked.
No, it's fine. No, thank you for your contributions. It's very welcome.
So you are going to reach out to that solar people?